was started as actually a community response to Robert Yates when he was out on the streets. He was a serial killer who was killing women on the streets. And one of the things that became really apparent was there was no safe place for women without children to be for the night in Spokane. So a group from Sisters of Providence, law enforcement, Spokane Regional Health District, a whole group of community partners came together, and they started what at the time they called the Downtown Emergency Women's Shelter. So they located the building, they actually purchased the building that we currently have both houses in, and they were able to sustain it for about 2 years, because if you want to lose a lot of money, start a homeless shelter. And they hit a point where it was just not physically appropriate for them to keep it. So they actually contacted Volunteers America and asked us if we would adopt their women's shelter. So in 2001, Volunteers America added Women's Shelter, Hope House Women's Shelter to our program. Like I said, we served 34 women per night. Last year we served 278 unique women. And we turned away 500 bed nights. And what that means is at 6 o'clock women can start lining up in the alley behind Hope House. At 7 they call off the list of who gets a bed that night, and you get a priority. If you had a bed last night, you can sign up for your bed the next night. If women don't come back, then that bed becomes available, and they'll start pulling off the reserve list. And so 500 bed nights were turned away because we had women in the alley waiting for a bed, and we weren't able to accommodate them. And so building a new shelter is a constant point of conversation in my agency. But right now, what you're going to be really doing with us on Friday is just helping us make the current shelter that we have just so much nicer. Because if you think about, we start off every year with a deficit for Hope House. So we really do have big challenges like a can of paint versus keeping the building staffed 24 hours a day, feeding the women versus new flooring. And so a lot of the things that you'll be doing for us on Friday, we literally could not do without your help. And it's just like when Pam was going up yesterday for the Valley meeting about all the things you're going to do, I literally thought I was going to start crying because they're constant conversation points about what are we going to do about the floors, how are we going to paint the walls. And we really literally couldn't do it without you. It's enormously wonderful. So I'm not going to cry today. I kind of want to go. So what we do is once a woman comes into Hope House, everyone who gets a hot meal, everyone who gets a hot shower, clean pair of pajamas, whatever hygiene supplies that we have, they all get a warm bed for the night. And the real big deal for us is they also get case management. So our women that we serve are really disabled. So, and for us, our disabilities are primarily HIV, mental health, severe late-stage addiction. And so we have a case manager who's just checking in with women every night. Would they be interested in going to mental health? Would they be interested in employment? Would they be interested in housing? And really just trying to meet the women where they're at, see if there's anything we can do to maybe get them on some benefits, get them connected with Medicaid, see if we can divert them from going to the ER for non-emergencies to going to urgent care, or in the name of God, getting a primary care provider. We had a nurse, we just lost funding for a nurse. We had a nurse that was checking in with the women 3 times a week, just sort of seeing how their overall health conditions are. We have a lot of chronic health conditions. And so, I'm really excited about you guys coming. It's gonna be cool. And if you get a chance, I'm asking all the staff to come in and just sort of start saying hi to people. The women that we serve are sometimes very disruptive, and sometimes not the folks that the businesses downtown really want in front of the business, not necessarily who law enforcement wants to run into all the time. But the staff at Hope House know all the women by name. They know their story, they know their kids' names. They have long-term relationships with these ladies. And last month I was really proud. We moved one woman into housing who had been homeless for 16 years. And we moved a second woman into housing who had been homeless for 15 years. And we were able to offer them case management supports. Someone goes buying checks on them at least once a week. They can come in and have meals. They can go to our clothing bank. They can come to our food bank. And we really just try to come up with all the creative ways we can in town to be able to solve homelessness for that individual person. If you love veterans, I'd be more than happy to tell you when you come out on Friday, we have a really robust homeless veterans program. served 30 men, all of which ended up in permanent housing, which is awesome. And we have a partnership with Goodwill to offer short-term rental assistance to homeless vets, men and women, or families, whatever the constellation is. And last year, we housed 247 vets just through that program. We also have, you can see at Hope House, we have apartments. We have contracts with HUD to offer apartments for the longest homeless and most disabled individuals that we rent from private landlords and then sublease to people who are homeless. We're opening a brand new building this summer called the Marilee down by Goodwill, which will add another 50, so we'll have 178 of those apartments that we case manage throughout Spokane. And the goal is really to get people off the streets into stability and then back into the community. It's, you're gonna love the people that you're gonna meet. So
is that Maryland, is that a new building?
it's a brand new building. It's a tax credit property that we're doing in conjunction with Catholic Charities. We do a lot of stuff with Catholic Charities.